I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Russo, no relation. We got all sorts of fun for you tonight. We're going to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk about the apostrophe or lack thereof in Halloween. We're going to talk about Shell Shocked. We got all sorts of Berlin news, all sorts of Berlin news. I wrote a book. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but we'll be talking about that because that is pretty much all I can talk about anymore. And we're also going to talk about the new feature that I almost certainly will probably start writing for GCFL in possibly the very near future. But I don't want to make any promises.
First things first, Tony. I need you to blink 3 times if you are in danger, if you have been captured.
Yes. So next week, I will be back up on Space Station Mir. I won't be in Mir, but I'll be on Mir. So my office is nearly complete, by which I mean my bedroom is complete, and we'll be moving the stuff out of my bedroom, and then I'll have an empty room that I'll just call the office, from where I'll be broadcasting next week. So I don't have any pictures. So yeah, I look like I've been captured by the Palestinians. And who knows? Maybe I have been. I've been carried by the ironic Palestinians.
The ironic Palestinians.
And they want you to get the impression that I'm in danger without actually threatening me. So.
Well, I've gotten lots of comments on my my beard that's grown out, so I don't know if that falls into this little fairy tale that we have going or not.
But if we could like somehow superimpose you over my shoulder, that would be horrifying.
That would be awful.
We could do a split screen.
I was going to attempt to, but I may be broadcasting next week from the new barrel room that we're going to be trying out to set up as an online or a live recording studio, and that's the little surf shack that was next to Burley Oak, and did some cleaning up. It literally took probably only about 3 hours. I mean, there's a lot of junk, but we cleaned it up and it looks really nice. They're going to bring some barrels in there. We're going to maybe do the podcast, maybe definitely try to do some live music recordings in there. It's a new little pet project that I'm actually pretty excited about. I think it's going to be a pretty neat thing.
Yes. The idea is, if I can help, they run some of the barrel program out of there, right? Don't they have barrels in there still?
Yes, yeah. So actually, I found out today, because there was actually logistical things happening. They have 50 barrels that are full and aging. So I didn't take the time to go through what each is what, but yeah, there's a lot of barrels that they have plans for that are already cooking, so to speak.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that, only because before we came on the air, we were talking about how I was maybe going to do this blog that I had in mind, kind of. And the reason I didn't is because I was working on my Burley book, which I'm going to finish this week, which I'm very excited about. And what I was writing about all day today was the beginning of the barrel program, which it's just really fascinating because there are most of the information I got, most of the stories are from my personal experience, from the podcasts, and oh wait, I want to yell at you about the podcast.
Oh no.
From my personal experience, from the podcast, and then from the and from interviews I've done. And I did an interview with Sean Sasser, who was the brewmaster under whom the cask program started. And earlier today, I actually got to listen to the Firkin beer episode of the Todcast from November of 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were we? Are we as bad now as we were then?
We've gotten markedly better because we're both, for the most part, sober, which wasn't always the case when we were actually at the brewery. But we had a conversation the night that I spilled my bourbon at the Globe.
Oh, that was amazing.
For those of you,
you scared poor Patty to death.
Oh, that's right. It was Patty Backer was our guest. No, it wasn't. It was the Roller Girls. No, it was Patty Backer. You're right. So anyway, briefly, I just bought a $15 shot of bourbon. and I knocked it over, and I just swore, and I was unhappy. And now people like Todd are used to seeing me like go like Hulk red and scream and then be done with it and forget what happened. But sometimes I forget that there are normal people on the planet who aren't used to some maniac just exploding and then just calming right down. And that's what happened. But what also happened was we had a conversation about Podbean. And the argument was whether or not we should be using Podbean. And I said, we really shouldn't use Podbean because you can't hang on to your stuff when you use Podbean. When you're doing it yourself, then you have your recordings. But when you upload them to Podbean, you might lose them. And Todd's like, no. And so that next week we switched to Podbean, and by some miracle, about a year and a half ago, I clicked on an episode that I wanted to listen to for the book, and it was gone. And I'm like, that son of a bitch, I told him. But as it turned out, the link was just broken. So I actually went to the old Podbean site and downloaded all of our Todcasts. So they exist, and you're welcome.
So, well, I appreciate you downloading them, but they're also still there, right? So I'm right.
No, they're not there. That's what I found out today on the frickin' episode. If you go to GCFL and you click on one of the Podbean guys, you're not going to get any audio. They're gone now.
Good thing my partner downloaded all of those before.
Good thing, I was all over it. Hold on for just a second. Hello? Hi, I have to tell you that you are live on the Todcast.
Hey.
Everything cool? Yes.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
The Todcast. Amanda says hello. Is everything cool?
Last week it was the Amber Alert. Now this week we have Tony's daughter.
I'll call you back in about 23 minutes.
And check it in.
I love you, baby. Bye.
So what's odd is that she's not tuned in watching the Todcast at this
She
moment.
called to say a little something on my something.
Oh. Good. I don't know about you. I have a live studio audience consisting of two.
Yeah, consisting of your swearing like a sailor wife.
Yep.
And
my dog, who's whining and might need to go out. So
when I dialed into the Todcast, Natalie was just swearing at Todd. I get those damn dishes done soon. So let's moving right along. I'm sorry, we got distracted, but that was a story I really felt like I needed to share. You were working in the Burley room.
Yeah.
Bring us up to date on if you expect this launch soon, how it's going to work. If you're a struggling artist, how can you get time on the Burley room sessions? All of those things.
So just like playing at Burley, the music is going to be coordinated with Bill Todd, who's bartender and music aficionado over there. But the idea being that this is somebody who wants to be able to come a little bit early, hang out, do a live recording that will be mastered, and then also have a video associated with it. We're going to create some online, content for the YouTube channel for Burley. I don't know, maybe we end up starting our own Burley Sessions page. So it's a solid takeaway. The idea is kind of a combination of Live at Daryl's House meets Sonic Highways meets.
Let's try me storytellers for someone.
Storytellers, yeah, that would be a good one.
For someone my age, and I've never even seen storytellers. I just knew it was a thing that VH1 was going to have on sometime soon. Back when I used to be cool and watch television.
Does VH1 even still exist?
Oh, dude, for $1 billion. I mean, I would have guessed. I didn't think that it didn't exist, but now I don't know.
Well, it's a pet project that I'm pretty excited about, and might also offer us a little area where we can, do some of our own stuff, studio type space, and maybe even get away from the kids when they come home since we're working out of the house. So yeah,
I would be interested to see you turn it into like a studio, like with all your video production gear and stuff like that, and just run things like that. I mean, the Todcast I would still like to do from my home because I can drink a lot more in Delmarva than I can in let's say Berlin. But let's I'll tell you what. On December 11th, 2014, I have my first signing in Berlin and my first official presence in Berlin.
Oh, nice.
At Berlioz.
Okay.
At 4 p.m. We should at least consider doing a very special Toddcast from the Toddcast room thereafter. Maybe from 4 to 6, I think the signing is. Maybe 7 o'clock we do a very special. Let's plan that. Do you want to plan that?
Let's do that right now. What December what?
11th, I think.
December 11th. That's perfect. That we'll do a very special podcast, very special Toddcast from the Barrel Room, and it will be a celebration of the holidays, your book launch, and also Natalie's birthday, which will be the day before. Yeah, she's having the 20th anniversary of her 21st birthday.
Awesome.
On December 10th.
Happy 20th anniversary for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's at least consider putting something together, because I think that'll be fun. And it would be, I don't know if you can get ready in time, and I don't know how far along you'll be, but it could be like the debut of if the Burley sessions haven't started yet, that would be a good time to kick it off. If they have started, then that would be a good time to remind everyone that they have started.
Well, what's going to be interesting about this is we're not necessarily doing this live to start, but maybe eventually. So we're recording on the 15th of November, taking account holidays, and maybe we can do a couple other recordings, but maybe we can do the premiere of the first video at that time as well.
Very cool. Well, mark it down. I'll come up if you want to do like some logistical stuff. I can come up earlier in the week. We can set it up, see how it works. Do a testing. I can bring my fancy camera. We can do maybe a multicam. Maybe we can have someone produce it. Maybe we can have Brian on and do like a good old days kind of reunion Toddcast. And
I think that would be a stellar idea.
And maybe even have people call in, because my State of the Beer podcast is supposed to be on Thursdays, and I'm going to have to bump it. I mean, maybe we could have Doug. We could have Doug and Brian and you and I, and that might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's do that. It's funny because talking about the Barrel Room, and I worked today to try to get it together and had the intention of doing it, but lighting wasn't right. Now it's real dark. But I mentioned it to Brian. Kyle Downs, a buddy of mine who's going to be helping on the music side of thing, I was talking to him about it, almost had some guests over there too, and it was just funny to hear Brian say something to Kyle about, oh, you want to be on the podcast? It's a lot of fun. Of course I'm thinking provided you are, show up and available.
Right.
But what's great about this space, it wouldn't be out front. It would be, connected but still separate, and it would, it's going to be a cool spot. We can definitely do that on that Thursday.
Cool. Well, as we get closer, we'll talk about it more, and probably offline. But
cool. What other tour dates do you have coming up?
You know what? I am going to put up a tour dates section, a tour dates page actually, like on the stateofthebeer.com website probably before this weekend, because I tried inviting people on Facebook, and I got a lot of people who responded that they'd like to come, and then I tried it on Google Plus, and I also got some people, but it's just convoluted, and what I discovered is every time I post an event, I have to invite a bunch of people, and I have a bunch. I probably have 10. I probably have 10 speaking engagements in the next 6 weeks.
That's impressive.
It is. I mean, I don't know who's gonna. No one's gonna see me twice for sure, right? And so, what I decided to do is I was gonna post something on stateofthebeer.com just so that I can just tweet it, and then I can post it on all the social media and send out emails, but not have to set up an event for everybody and then, because like the 10th time you get an invitation from me, you're like, dude, I went to the third one, right? And then I got 7 more invitations because I can't keep track of who to invite and who not to invite. And even if you can't come, you may want to know someone who can come, and you may want to invite someone. So my best thing is this week by Monday, I'll put something on all the social media. That go to the State of the Beer, pick a day that you want to come, pick some questions you want to ask. I'm going to be talking about different things. The most exciting, if you can only see one show, kids, actually at the NAB Center on November 19th, 7 p.m. I'm going to be talking about some of the historical research, some of the new research that I broke, both doing the paper that led to the book and during the research of the book. And that will be a blast. And there are going to be a lot of history-type nerds there asking a lot of history nerd-type questions, but it'll still be, I think, a lot of fun. So, I
think for your tour on the first date, or when people are there with their cell phone cameras out recording you, because obviously that will be happening, you should consider buying a $15 glass of scotch and then spilling it and launching into one of your Hulk-like tirades quickly to recover and carry on. And I think that may be the best mark you could do for your entire book tour. I'll tell you what, me falling off if me falling off the pogo stick didn't go viral, I don't know what else I can do, frankly. Because I was pretty sure that I would be on, I could have been on the news, because I wouldn't know. I didn't see this. We had this interesting conversation. I know we take shots at the newspapers, and we'll continue to sometimes. We had a conversation at a recent Sister Cities meeting, and they were complaining that the newspaper didn't publish their press releases. And I said, how do you know? And she said, well, they never sent back a note that said they were going to publish it. And I'm like, they don't. And that's not what they do. What they do is they run it, and when you send in a press release, they expect that you're going to buy the paper every day and then eventually take out a subscription just so you can go through the paper and see if your release ran. And they're like, really? And I said, yes, that's true. And so they're like, so maybe they did? I said, when was the last time you read the Daily Times? And they're like, well, I'm like, no, you don't have to make an excuse to me. I don't work for the Daily Times. I'm just telling you. They very well could have run your picture. I said, because a lot of times in my day job, I'll send out press releases, and people say, oh, I saw in the paper this, or I saw in the paper that, and I'll be like, cool. So I know that people are reading the paper. I'm not always one of them, but the idea that you're not getting stuff in the paper is only something that you can know if you are checking the paper every day. So subscribe to the Daily Times or stop whining. But don't do both. That's actually their new slogan for 2015.
And if I can,
subscribe or stop whining.
I don't know. Do you happen to get the Daily Times at your home?
No.
That's okay. I believe that I have an essay in this Friday's Daily Times, and I'm not going to say that I'm not excited about it, because I am, and I think it's pretty good, even though it's certainly too pretentious. But it was supposed to run last Friday, and I refused to go and buy one just to see. I'm like, you know what? It's not a big deal. Just be cool about it. And then I was visiting with Tina Dayton Ludwig, who is my editor, and I saw that she had the paper on the table, and I couldn't help myself. I'm like, is that today's? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I think I'm in the art section. I did an essay about, what it's like to write a nonfiction novel, a nonfiction book, if you'd like to take a look. And we opened it up, and I got bumped. I got bumped for a 2-page spread on Mindy Burgoyne's Haunted Eastern Shore book series.
Burgoyne!
And I was like, ah! But I couldn't... I want to tease her about it, but I don't feel like I should tease her about it till A, after mine runs, and B, when I see her in person, because that's the kind of thing that can only come off poorly on social. I mean, she knows me well enough to know that I'm not really jealous, but I wanted to send her a vicious email, just to be like, now we're having beef, But
Well,
Nobody gets beef. Nobody gets faux beef.
speaking of spooky stuff, we had Halloween this past weekend.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw any of the pictures on social media. Perhaps I should pull up mine. But I got a lot of comments on my portrayal of Count Dooku.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
He's one of the Sith Lords who was he's in the second and third movie of the newer ones. So that's
I saw that picture. It was awesome.
The costume there. What's funny about this is you can see some good comments there, but I actually had my mother-in-law and my mother give me the whole "you're so distinguished" right there. So although at the beginning of the show my beard may look like I'm one of your captors, if it were white, it would be very distinguished. So maybe
it's like Sean Connery a little bit. You got that?
I actually
old Sean Connery.
I actually had somebody say Sean Connery, right? And I'm not gonna go. No, I'm a nerd who likes Star Wars. Of course, I'm Sean Connery.
I'm Sean Connery from Robin Hood. Robin and Marion.
Yeah. So, I also got. I think somebody said a Lannister from the Game of Thrones. All good, all good. So apparently,
actually, that first guy you said, who are you really?
Count Dooku.
If you had told me that Count Dooku was in Game of Thrones, I would have had to believe you.
Well, that's the I guess that's the real trick. Here, this is the look that I was going for. Let me. Oh, and of course I had my kids who were the creepy kids as well. And then Natalie was also a Sith person, although a lot more sassy in her. So that was the look. That was the look that I was going for.
Oh, that's the Lord of the Rings guy. And
yes,
Peter.
Yes.
What's his name? Peter. Peter?
I was actually looking to see if it's in. I don't know. I call him Count Dooku.
Yeah, no, but he's. I can't remember his name, but he's a very famous actor. Peter Lee. Peter Lee.
Peter Lee. Could be.
Well, anyway, let's see. I'm sorry. So, how was your family dressed? You mentioned your family.
Just as creepy kids, they the typical. Well, maybe not the typical, but typical for the DeHarts is always the kids in some sort of odd attire. If they're not your normal children, I would say. So Nellie had the opaque cataract lenses, making her
freaking hardcore.
I mean, is that kind of nuts? But I like the fact that Brody still wore his Buckingham sweatshirt.
They represent,
just still school pride through and through, and there's Natalie there as she was Darth Xana. We were both Sith Lords, because what's the fun in being good guys?
Yes, the Count Dooku was played by Christopher Lee, who played Dracula like 8 or 10 times.
Oh, nice. That makes sense.
He played Dracula so often I got him confused with Peter Cushing, which is why I called him Peter Lee. And it is the same guy who was in the Lord of the Rings, right? What is he? He was Harry. He was in Harry Potter. He was in Lord of the Rings. He was in I don't know.
And this has been Nerd Hour with Todd and Tony.
He's the oldest working English bad guy actor. So when they need that's who they call. He doesn't. No, he's not the one who hangs out with Patrick Stewart. He's that's the other guy.
It's Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen. He's the poor man's Ian McKellen.
Poor man's Ian McKellen. He's no Magneto.
He's no Magneto. So anyway, let's move along just really quickly. I shined my shoes today, and we're going to see if we can take care of this briefly, but I got to tell someone. I shined my shoes today.
Yeah.
for the first time since I was a child. And it's awesome, and I'm going to do it all the time. I took some photos, and I'll post a blog on Good Clean Fun Life probably in the next 2 or 3 days. But it was cool in that I forgot, A, how awesome it smelled, and B, just like the sense of accomplishment, it just felt very earthy, like some people farm. I shine my own. I don't know.
Very similar.
But what I would like to do, picking up on the Gentlemen's Club theme, which we haven't picked up on very well, is I might like to do some sort of like blog like that with some old timey, like, hey, I shine my shoes. Hey, I wear cufflink shirts. Hey, I beat my wife. I don't know. Hey, I got drunk at lunch and I had an affair. Hip 60s stuff.
Yeah, it's Mad Men all over again.
That's what all the kids are into today, right? The Madmans.
Right. I smoke in the car with the windows rolled up and my kids in the back seat.
You know what? I never, even when I smoked, I never smoked with it. That's too much. That's a lot of freaking smoke. Yeah. That's a lot. I mean, unless you're like hotboxing, that's not. You want to roll down the window. If it's too cold for you to roll down the window, you probably shouldn't smoke.
Yeah. Yep.
But yes, so all of those things. So we'll be taking your suggestions at wherever. You can get me, Tony Russo, at OSURYNOT, my name forward, at my name backwards. Or you can get Todd with your requests for kooky things you would like me to do and write about.
You can actually text to the number on your screen, 703-828-GCFL. And we'll do whatever you say if you text us.
Yes, really. And I'll tell you what, and that's almost literal. I don't know what you would do. Like, if you got a text, like... It's... Have Tony talk about how to get ivory bone scratchers. The best place to buy ivory back scratchers.
That's I'm just so confident that nobody is watching that I would announce that. But we've picked up a couple of viewers here and there, which is good. But actually, it's funny. So you talk about touching on the Gentlemen's Club. Gentlemen's Club started a couple years ago because we went out on a bachelor party with a buddy of mine and proceeded to get like rip-roaring drunk and doing shots everywhere, and it became very annoying to me. And I thought, why don't we just do a regular guys' night where we can go out, dress up, and have a nice night out, and it doesn't have to be like this big thing. Well, we're getting ready, and we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks a promo for fist pumpkin bombs. So we've gone. The pendulum has swung the other direction, and so we're going to be hitting up the college kids to do pumpkin bombs.
I have to say, fist pumpkin bombs. That sounds vile.
Well, all I know is.
Tell me what it is, and if it's too sexual, I'll just have to hang up.
We're doing the Backshore Fist Pumpkin beer, and Reliable Churchill is also kicking in, and we're doing their Fire Eater, and then there's like a vanilla vodka or something like that goes with it. I'll have more on that. But yeah, it's like a car bomb, which I love a car bomb. Anytime.
I love a car bomb, except the Northern Irish.
Any time of year is good for a car bomb. But we're going to be a little promo of that. So things with the Gentlemen's Club come full circle. Yeah. Maybe we'll even be wearing nice things while we do it.
Is it too late? Is this a pumpkin beer? Are you talking when you're talking about Backshore Brewing?
Yes. Yeah. So it's their pumpkin beer, and I think Danny had the great idea to intentionally be late to the market to carry it through till Thanksgiving, when everybody else is running out of their pumpkin beers or moving on. But yeah, so that's one of the things that we're gonna have coming up.
Now, Fire Eater, is that like Fireball, but without the alkaline, without the antifreeze?
It's antifreeze free Fireball. Yeah, it's another spicy. It's another mix of 3 different types of alcohol that you want to drink as fast as possible for maximum results of deliciousness.
Of deliciousness, waka waka. All right. Well, that's enough of that. Is all I got to say. I'm running out of. I don't know if you can tell about the positive energy draining from me because you don't emit a lot of positive energy, but not a lot of positive energy left right now, kids. So we're gonna start to sign off. Unless you got something else. You got anything?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town.
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour.